Hey everyone, so today I'm going to do a tag video, and I was tagged by Wild Book Garden to do the Get to Know Ya book tag. This tag seemed really interesting, so I was really glad to be tagged in it, so thank you. And I'm just going to get right on into the questions. The first question is, what is your favorite book? And this answer changes all of the time. It's completely different, every year, every month sometimes. But right now I'm really feeling this book, and it is And I Darken by Kiersten White. I absolutely love this series so much, and this book in particular is probably my favorite book out of the series. I do love the rest of it, obviously. I gave it all 5 stars, but this one is definitely my favorite. I love the beginning of this book, the exposition, and it's so beautifully written, and I just love the characters. The characters have really, found a place in my heart, and I love them to death so much, like Lada, Mehmed, Radu. I love them all so much. And I don't know, this is just my favorite book. Like, when I just think of my favorite book, automatically I say And I Darken. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite book. And the second question is, what was your favorite book 5 years ago? And 5 years ago, I was 18 years old, and my favorite book was definitely Wither by Lauren DeStefano. And I absolutely freaking loved this book when I was in high school. I read it all when I was a senior, and I just love these books. I cried so much when I was reading them. Red by Taylor Swift had just come out, and so that was kind of what I was listening to when I was reading this book. Mostly Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, things like those songs. And these books have a really special place in my heart, and I definitely really loved them when I was 18 years old. Number 3 is my favorite duology or series or trilogy, and that would be Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I absolutely love these books, both Six of Crows and Cricket Kingdom. I think Cricket Kingdom is probably my favorite out of the two, but this one is the first one, so I decided to show you guys this one. And I absolutely love this book. I remember getting it, and I remember having heard a little bit of it, but I didn't really know what it was about. And for some reason, I thought that Leigh Bardugo was some other author, and I got her mixed up with someone else, so who knows who I thought it was, but it wasn't her. And I was really excited to get this, and I actually didn't really put 2 and 2 together because I had read Shadow and Bone a few months earlier, and then I picked up this one, and I just didn't really realize that they were the same author, so I don't know what's going on there. But I really loved this book when I picked it up. I read it so fast, and I absolutely loved it, and it is like the prettiest book I've ever seen in my life. Like, I love these black sprayed edges, and they're just, it's just one of the most beautiful books in the entire world. Question number 4 is, what was the last book you read? And the last one I just read, I finished it yesterday. That was Restore Me by Tata Mafi. And oh my gosh, I absolutely love this book so much. There wasn't like that much stuff going on in this book, but it was still amazing. It was still like one of my favorite books of this year. I don't know how that happened. It's just amazing. The ending to this book is absolutely incredible. It's mind-blowing. You're not going to expect it at all, and oh my gosh, I just love this book so much. I don't want to give anything away. It's so hard. It's so hard not to spoil people, but I don't want anyone to get spoiled because I got spoiled. Not a good feeling. And I just love this book so much. I got it for my birthday. It's a signed copy. I love it so much. Question number 5 is, what was the last poetry book that you read? And I actually just finished a poetry book today, and that was Love and You by Gretchen Gomez. I absolutely loved it. I'm not a huge poetry person, so I can't exactly give you guys like a proper reaction to this book. I don't really read a lot of poetry. I don't really know what's good or what's not good. I just like what I like. So I actually really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really nice, really good self-love, self-acceptance, that realization of all of that, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend that book. Question number 6 is, what book most influenced your life? And so for this one, I chose Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. I read this book when I was about 18 or 19 years old, and this was the first book that I had ever read that had a women loving women relationship in it, and I was just blown away. I remember picking this book up and not actually knowing that it was going to be women loving women, and it completely blew my mind. I was so excited to finally get to see myself represented in a book, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I remember crying so much when I read this book. I also listened to Red by Taylor Swift while I read this one, so that kind of has a connection there as well. And I just absolutely freaking love this book. It just has completely impacted my life in a way that no other book really has. And also I would totally add in there We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, because that's another women loving women book that I absolutely love. So this one has definitely influenced my life. Question number 7 is, what was the book that made you ugly cry? And for this one, I chose The Crown's Fate by Evelyn Skye, and the reason I ugly cried for this book was I read it, and then I looked up the dance, the mazurka, and I absolutely died. Like, I just started crying in Starbucks. I was watching it and just tears, and oh my gosh, like, because the mazurka is a really, really, like, important dance in these books, in this duology, and it just, I don't know, it just made me cry. I just started ugly crying in Starbucks, and I don't know. I don't know why it affected me like that. I just watched them dancing, and then I just thought of the characters, and it was just like tears, just so many tears. And I've cried a lot in Starbucks, but that was kind of like one that stands out to me as, oh my god, I ugly cried in Starbucks over a dance because of a book. So this one is definitely, I've cried to a lot of books. Like, I cried when I read the end of Breakfast at Tiffany's because, oh my gosh, it's different than the movie. So yeah, this was definitely one that stands out in my mind as being an ugly cry, especially in public. So oops. Number 8 is a book that made you laugh, and I'm going to go with When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. And I absolutely loved this book when I read it, and I laughed so much. Dimple is so funny, and I just love Rishi. I think he's funny as well, and just the writing in this book was funny. Just the way that it was written and like the voice in it was funny, and I just think that Sandhya really got that like comedy down. Like, it was definitely a rom-com and very heavy on the comedy, and I just loved it. I love it, and I always laugh whenever I think about Dimple throwing the iced coffee in Rishi's face. Like, I just think that's hilarious, and I completely can see it in my mind every time I buy an iced coffee. I just think of that. So this was definitely a book that made me laugh. Number 9 is a character that you would like to be for a day, and for this one I chose Celia Bowen from The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and I love Celia Bowen. Like, I gave this book a 4 stars, but I love Celia. I give her a 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. She is amazing. She surpasses every other character. I love her so much. I wanted to roleplay her on Tumblr for a little while, but that just didn't work out. But oh my god, Celia Bowen. She is just like my queen. She is my goddess. She is my everything. I'm in love with her, so I just love Celia Bowen. I want to be her. I want her magic. I want everything about her. I love her clothing. I love her style. I love her just everything. I just love it all. I just want to be Celia for like at least a day. Question number 10 is a book that was so good that you dreamt about it, and for this one I'm going to go with the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, and I don't know, was it good enough that I dreamt about it? They were nightmares. Let's be real, they were nightmares. I had so many freaking nightmares. Just, oh my god, about that series. It was intense. It was just like the scariest nightmares I've ever had, with like President Snow and like the blood and the roses. Oh my gosh, like I had so many nightmares you cannot even believe. When I was reading that book, I don't remember which one I was reading. It might have been the second or the third one. Maybe the first one. I don't remember. But I had intense nightmares over those books, and I loved it. I loved it. They were terrifying, but they were also amazing. So The Hunger Games kind of scarred me for life. Question number 11 is a book that you DNF'd, and that one would be The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, and I'm really sad that I DNF'd this book like a few years ago because I really wanted to like this book. I think I'm like fairly far into it. Like, if I don't remember, I think I might have been more than halfway through and I just DNF'd it because I wasn't feeling it. But there are a lot of characters in this book that I absolutely love, so I hope that I can get back into it. And maybe now that I'm older, maybe now that I've read a bit more, I might like it. I don't know. I really want to like it, so I'm definitely going to give this book another shot, but I DNF'd it quite a while ago. And yeah, this is just the first book that I kind of thought of that like I DNF'd, so And the very last question is, what book are you most excited to read? And for this question, I chose Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and I am so excited to get to this book. It's beautiful, it is huge, and I've just heard so many good things about it. I've read a little bit of it, like a few pages, just to see if I would like it, and I think I'm definitely going to like it. So I'm really excited, and I just really need like a good, epic, huge fantasy, and I think this is going to be it, and I'm really, really excited to finally read it and just understand what all the hype is about and why everyone loves it so much, and I just know I'm gonna love it, so I'm so excited. Alright, so that was the entire tag, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be tagging a few people down below, and hopefully I can tag you guys on Twitter. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!